guys, Tracy here with a layout about the beach. I'm going to scrapbook these four Instagram pictures, and I want to use these stamps. These stamps came in the Rock Lobster kit from Scraptastic. I have the rest of the kit here in front of me. I've made a couple of layouts from this one, but there's still plenty of scraps left, so I'm not just scraps, but plenty of full pages and some scraps left as well. So I'm just having a look at some of the papers that I think might work with this layout. I am pulling out a number of papers here, almost everything. I'm going to leave some of the cardstock in the box and some of the other papers, but I'm taking out most of them. I want to mat my layout on this piece of turquoise paper that came in the kit. It's from Basil, and I want to use that crepe paper diagonal stripe, and I want to use that newsprint from Simple Stories, I Heart Summer Collection, and I'm just arranging my photos into a square grid, a 2x2 grid, and I'm going to put it on this newsprint from, again, Simple Stories. And I just love this newsprint. I love that it has the unexpected colorful hearts and colorful headlines. So I'm just going to trim up a piece of this newsprint that's going to mat my photos, but also give me some room around the edges for embellishment. And this paper is by Hottie Swap from the Serendipity collection, and I love it. So I'm going to cut this paper, and I'm going to cut it just a tiny bit. I think I'm cutting 1/4 of an inch off the edge of it so that there's basically 1/8 of an inch border. Now I'm going to cut the Heidi Swap paper so that I've got a chunk there. And on one side that Heidi Swap paper is hearts, and on that side that you see that looks pink, it actually is pink with white chevrons on it. And I love that paper, especially the hearts on the other side, so much that I wanted to save the inside of that because it's going to be completely covered. I'm not saving the inside of this crepe paper only because I already have 3 or 4 extra pieces of this because it was my favorite paper from the Pier collection, and so I like both the diagonal stripes that you see right there, the colorful ones. I also really like the other side of that paper, which is a nice neutral. So normally if I had this in a kit, I would have been saving the center of that too, but I don't feel like I need to because I already have some. So I'm double outlining all of the elements that are going on this layout. And it looks kind of funny with that giant hole in it, but it looks okay once I fill it with the Simple Stories newsprint. And now I'm just getting ready to stamp this whale, which is my very favorite item on this stamp set. I love the stamp set this month, and so I'm just stamping it in VersaFine, and I'm fussy cutting it. If you have difficulty fussy cutting around stamps or other items on pattern paper, one tip is to keep your elbow tucked into your body. That gives your arm some stability. You'll notice I am cutting off his the little sprays of water from his water spout, and I'm going to restamp those. Once I decide where he's going to go, I'm going to restamp the whale and then put the cutout version of him over top of the stamped version of him. These chevron this vellum with a chevron colorful print on it is from Ellie's Studio, and I love this paper, and I love it for the possibilities of cutting out the chevrons and using them in different ways. So I'm just cutting out a variety of different colors and shapes, trying not to repeat the same chevron anywhere on my layout. And I'm putting the 3 on the top that are going towards the layout, and then the 2 on the bottom that are going away from the layout. These are the thickers that came with the Rock Lobster kit, and they're called Sketchbook, and they're one of my very favorite letters ever. And so I am just spelling out the name of the beach, which ends up being a very long word that's not going to fit very nicely anywhere with my design. So I'm going to cut it in half and use a little something to go between for a hyphen, but that set doesn't come with hyphens, so I'm going to have to be creative. I took the Those gold tile letters from crepe paper, I took them off and put them on to spell out beach, but you know, the word beach is looking awfully fancy in those gold letters, and it just wasn't fitting with the rest of the layout, which has a very casual beachy feel. So you saw me just right there, I cut up another sticker that I didn't think I was going to use for anything else, and I just took the word beach off of it and I cut it out and putting it below my word Bayswater. So I've finally adhered all of my photos down to the paper, and I'm going to do some sewing now. I have to take out, I had pink thread in there, so I have to put my gold thread back in. There are lots of yellows in the stripes and in the headlines and so on of this, so I wanted to go with gold thread. And I'm just going to sew down the middle of each of the chevrons, and I'm not using any adhesive. I don't have any vellum adhesive. I keep meaning to buy some, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So it's been years, so I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get around to buying vellum adhesive. But you can get special adhesive that doesn't show under vellum. But I'm just holding it down with my hands while I sew it on. I will usually use staples, or I'll even just use regular adhesive, and you can't really see it, but in this case I really didn't want to see the adhesive. Sometimes I care about that stuff and sometimes I don't, and this day I did. So I'm just using my fingers to curl up the edges of the chevrons there. And now I'm going to adhere my title, so I'm starting with the part of the title that's going to sit against the photos because that makes it easy to place, and then I'm going to place the top part of that based on the bottom part. And now I'm looking for something that I can cut up to use as a hyphen, and I just took the plus sign and cut off the top and bottom parts of it. Now this says sandcastle, and there is no sandcastle there yet, so here's where I'm going to use those stickers to put the word future. I don't know why I didn't think they were too fancy to use here. I must have changed my mind, but I was thinking that they were too fancy before. I slapped that little geotag down before I really got a chance to think about whether it fit with the layout, and I'm going to change it later because I'm going to realize that it's not really the look I was going for. Put two of those crepe paper border stickers down there below the photos, layered them up a little bit, and now I'm going to struggle a little bit with what I'm going to layer behind this camera. I know I want to use the camera, but I also know that I want to put some layers behind it because I just want to put layers behind it. And there's some kind of weird looking edges there where those border stickers end, and I want to make sure that I cover them up. So I did some outlining, and then I decided, oh, I don't like those outlined, so I'm going to change them. So I like that little chevron. It's a little bit smaller than what I'd like it to be for the camera. The camera covers almost all of it. If either the camera was a tiny bit smaller or the chevron was a tiny bit bigger, it would be perfect. But I'm going to go with it anyways because you can't always find the perfect embellishment for the perfect spot. And so you just kind of have to make what you have work. And that's what I'm doing here. I've decided to put the whale so that he's sitting on the edge of that chevron, which I think is going to look adorable. And I'm putting one more of those crepe paper border stickers on, the one that it looks sandy, but it looks like lace, a little bit like doilies. I'm going to do my journaling on that. And there I go, stamping the water spout now that I've decided where the whale is going to go. And he's stamped on Simple Stories paper from the I Heart Summer collection. There was a piece that was like a colored blue wood plank paper, and that's what he's cut from. It was a scrap. And there I go, switching out the geotag to something that fits a little bit more with the color scheme I have. And now I'm layering two of the label stickers. One is a banner and one is a label. And I'm going to do some journaling on them. Those are from the crepe paper from the Pure collection. So the stickers so far are all from the Pure collection. I'm going to use that surf and sand die cut because it's absolutely perfect. It's quite stark white, so I am going to alter it a tiny, tiny bit. I'm having a look to see if there's any of these L Studio little word phrase cut aparts that I might want to use, but none of them really fit with what I'm doing, so I'm not going to use any of those. But I am going to use these freckled fawn resin stars. They have two sides to them. One side is really smooth and shiny and a little bit sunken in, and the other side is has a texture to it, and I decided to put the textured side up because it reminded me of the sand. So then at the last minute I added a little flag on there, and I know I want to do something to the flag. It's very flat looking. It's from the I Heart Summer collection from Simple Stories, so I want to put a tiny embellishment on it, but I couldn't find the right one. I ended up going into my stash and grabbing some enamel dots for that. Actually, those are from the add-on from the other kit. Those aren't for my stash. I have the add-on for out on the town, and so I just grabbed those from that. Now I'm going to decide what color I'm going to spray the surf and sand. I don't actually want to make it colored. There's a lot of colors already going on this layout, so I wanted the surf and sand to be quite neutral. So I'm going to use Old Lace Glimmer Mist, and that's just going to make it look dirty, and that's it. Like, it's not going to really add any color. And so I'm putting 2 layers of that on, and then I am blow drying it with my with my heat gun. And there it is, and I'm going to put it in there. And because Glimmer Mist does have a tendency to warp things because it's very, very wet compared to other kinds of mists, I like that because it's kind of cupping up and it gives a lot of dimension to the die cut. That's the die cut that just came in the kit. It's a Scraptastic exclusive, and I love it. So here you're going to see some close-ups of this layout. The stitching on the chevrons is one of my favorite things to do with cutout chevrons, so that was a lot of fun. And there's the future castle is gonna is gonna be there. We took all the pictures early on in this beach trip. We didn't take any when they actually had stuff. There I did a tiny bit of journaling about how this beach is a little bit further away. We've got a lot of beaches close to us, but we like to go to this one that's about half an hour away because it's much less crowded. So there's how my title turned out. I really love that cutout word beach. I'm glad that I spotted that on the sticker sheet. So you guys, thanks so much for watching. This was a lot of fun to put together, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, just drop me a line, comment, and I hope that you guys all have a great scrappy week.